It generally takes about 21 days to break a habit or to develop a new habit. I focus on developing new habits rather than trying to break the old ones, because when you focus on the positive, it overrides the negative. So once again, I want to tell you that gambling is a big fat lie. And furthermore, I also believe that you can completely break yourself free of that. Gambling is one of the worst addictions that a person can have. In fact, they say statistics, if you go online and you look at statistics, that the suicide rate is the highest among all the other addictions. And I was at a point in my life several years ago where I basically would contemplate those thoughts too. And I'm glad that I didn't think on those thoughts too long, because whatever you think about, you become. That gambling is a big lie. And you should repeat that to yourself. Gambling is a big lie. I know that because I've lost thousands of dollars gambling. I started gambling when I was at the age of 14, and I struggled for many years. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you just a little bit about me. When I lived in the Bay Area, I used to drive up to Reno probably every other weekend. And I would come back from Reno back into the Hayward area crying, literally crying, after losing a week or two of my paycheck. And I tell you, if you have been in those positions, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. It hurts. It really does hurt.
If you want to quit gambling, or you want to quit some vice that has such a grip on your life, first of all, you gotta want it. You have to want it, man. If you don't think about that, if you don't want it, it's not gonna happen. You're gonna keep trying. You're gonna keep trying, and your subconscious is gonna basically take over and cause you to go in that direction continuously. You gotta be aware of your thoughts. You gotta be aware of how you're talking to yourself. And I'll tell you one way to begin thinking about this breakthrough is you gotta start telling yourself that you're no longer a gambler. You gotta, even if you fall, even if you gamble, hey, you know what, even if you're in front of a machine pulling on the handle or throwing the cards or rolling the dice, keep telling yourself you're not a gambler. Keep telling yourself that. When you get home, look in the mirror, look into those beautiful eyes of yours and tell yourself in the mirror that you're not a gambler. You don't know how to gamble.
You will become what you think about. And if you believe that you're no longer that person that's going into those places, you will become what you think about. How do I know it works? Because I made a decision some time ago, and I said that, you know what, I would never step onto one of those floors in those buildings. And as a matter of fact, I don't even like using the word casino in my vocabulary. I hardly ever talk about it. Let me share this with you. Have you ever heard the term out of sight, out of mind? We tend to forget those things. If something is out of mind, if it's out of your mind, it's going to be out of your sight. And that's exactly what you want to do with that big fat lie called the casino. And once again, I believe in you. You got to develop the courage. You got to develop the boldness to combat that enemy, because it is an enemy. It's an enemy that you can't see. And I believe just as well as I have been able to break myself completely free, I don't have that desire anymore. I save my money. I use my money more wisely. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you something. I consider myself a money magnet because I always bounced back. I always bounced back whenever I got burned by those places. That I don't want to mention that word anymore in this video, because gambling is a big fat lie. You can go to counselors, you can go to therapy, you can go to meetings if you want to. Personally, I don't believe in any of that. I'm not saying I don't believe in it. I personally didn't need it in my life. I didn't need it to break free. What I did was I made one decision, and I started educating myself through videos and through affirmations, and by talking to myself exactly the person that I wanted to become and the person that I am today. And I'll tell you, if you watch this video over and over and let it sink into your head, Let it sink into your head that gambling is a big fat lie, and that you can break free from it anytime you want to, just by making a decision. And again, now once you make that decision, you're going to watch this video over and over and over and over until it sinks deep into your subconscious, and it begins to break that paradigm that's been holding you back, that's forcing you to go into those places. It's not as hard as you think, my friend. Remember that. It is not. There's work involved here if you're willing to do this. In fact, let me add one more thing. Get a piece of paper and write on that paper the person that you truly want to become. Along with this video, you read that paper to yourself as much as possible. Put it in your pocket. Put it in your wallet. Make copies of it. Post it on your windshield. Put it on a mirror in your bathroom, a place that you look at constantly and continually every single day. Because what you're going to do is basically you're going to force these things into that area of your mind, and you're going to create some positive habits. Believe me, if I can do this, if I can break free of habits and gambling and all those other things that are nasty, that are just big fat lies, if I can do it, you can do it.